I'm gonna be doing this video outside because it's really nice. It's gonna get dark like probably in a few minutes, but I'm gonna soak it up as much as I can. I really hope my neighbors don't hear me because I probably sound crazy talking about topics like this. I live around a lot of townhomes. We're very cozy as to how close we are. Is that fun? So just to recap, I've gone through 8 pregnancy losses naturally and just now did IVF during a global pandemic and pending embryo transfer, TBD for that. I'm not as popular on YouTube as I am on TikTok, so I'm probably talking to nobody. But to the few views I get, I hope you learned something. I got a comment recently asking me what kinds of tests I have done throughout this process with pregnancy losses and why I'm struggling to maintain. Now remember, I'm not recommending anything and I am not a doctor, but I will tell you what kinds of tests we went through and how that went. Yeah. Okay, so first off, these are all the specialties I have done testing with. Yes, a lot. Before doing all that testing, we of course sought out a reproductive endocrinologist after 3 or 4 consecutive losses. They did an extensive testing, and the only thing they saw was that I had MTHFR, which, if you know about that, is linked to miscarriages, but also there's not a ton of research as to why or how. Apparently it can cause more blood clots. But that didn't matter because I've done aspirin, Lovenox, all that during pregnancy, and I've still not been able to maintain my pregnancies. And just so you know, I have been able to make it to 12 weeks 2 times with my pregnancies. I've been monitored weekly with blood work every 48 hours, and they just don't know why. I developed these hemorrhages in my uterus that looks like is rejecting or forcing my body to reject these pregnancies. All right, now let's go back to what kinds of tests I've done. So the basic blood work or routine blood work for fertility tests you for all these blood clotting disorders, immunological disorders. I'm sorry, they're doing a lot of construction here. That's super annoying. It's like 6 o'clock. But yes, my husband and I have done genetic testing. We were both pretty much normal. I didn't have anything come back. I wasn't a carrier for anything significant. However, my husband was a carrier for this. After seeing the reproductive endocrinologist and thinking that was the way to go, the reproductive endocrinologist was actually monitoring pregnancies that I conceived on my own. So I wasn't your typical patient at the fertility clinic, and my protocol was completely different from anyone else's, but I'm pretty sure everyone else's is kind of unique to their situation. So after doing all these tests, still failing pregnancies, even with heavy monitoring and changing the regimen for pregnancy, I decided to seek out specialties on my own. And that's when I went to the rheumatologist, hematologist, I mean, even the freaking oncologist. I was like, maybe I have cancer, I don't know. But yeah, nothing. It's weird because when you're going through this, you actually want to find something wrong with you because you want an answer. You're just like, what is wrong with me? What is causing this? And the unknown doesn't make it better. It doesn't. So at the very end, most recently, we sought out a reproductive immunologist, thinking that this was going to be amazing. They did do this expensive, like thousands of dollars worth of testing. It's very extensive and just overall bougie. And the doctor calls me telling me that I have 2 factors of antiphospholipid syndrome, but I don't have antiphospholipid syndrome at the same time. And then was like, you know what, even with all this testing, and on top of my adenomyosis, I do have adenomyosis, I forgot to mention that I was just gonna be put on a regimen with steroids this time, which is so frustrating to hear because I could have saved myself so much money and energy from doing that testing, and I was back to square one. I was excited after seeing the reproductive immunologist for a little bit because I was like, oh my gosh, I have antiphospholipid syndrome. And my reproductive endocrinologist looks at the results and he's like, well, no, you don't have it. Looks like you have factors for it, but not technically. And I was like, ready to flip a table. Like, really? Ooh, another thing is that I've always had a positive ANA, which I thought was also an answer, but no, ANA basically means nothing. That there's possibly some inflammation in your body. You can get a positive ANA result with just having a cold, so not helpful. But here's some of the tests I did throughout the process. Again, your fertility clinic or doctors that you were seeing probably have tested you for most of these already. I do keep all my records, all of them, in a binder. You have to keep yourself organized because you don't want to retest for something you already tested before, because your insurance will bite you in the butt and ask you to pay hundreds, even thousands. We had 10 embryos, 6 female, 4 males, and we lost 2 of the males to genetic defects that weren't disclosed to me. But either way, we're grateful for the 8 embryos because honestly, there are women that get no embryos or no eggs from the egg retrieval. So we are incredibly grateful, but of course, a little sad for the 2 we lost. Guys, comment below, ask me more questions. I am happy to share my experience or thoughts, and yeah, basically anything. I'm an open book. Till we meet again, TTC warriors. Wow, that was really dorky. All right.